Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card hopefully will be a fairly simple one, fairly tarot centric with some oracle cards just to kind of round out some of the information, but also to keep us very clearly on a path. What we're looking here at is what do you most need to know on your path at the moment, your journey, your odyssey, if you will, your hero's quest. And it's inspired by my just receiving a deck that I backed on Kickstarter called the Odyssey Oracle. You can see three of the cards from this beautiful deck there. It's by the same group of people that brought the Threads of Fate Oracle. So incredibly high, luxurious, beautiful cards, really esoterically well thought out and so forth. And I was very drawn to this because I've always loved the concept of the hero's quest, the mythical journey, the story of Odysseus and others. And so in keeping with that, I decided the tarot I'm going to use for this is the Pythia Tarot. So we kind of get, there's a few things in this to keep us to that kind of almost Greek mythology level. But we will also be looking at this very practically because it could be your day-to-day journey, something that you're doing in a career, vocation, around a relationship. And we're really just wanting to know what's the main things you need to know. So under each of these for the pile choice, there are two other cards from the deck, and that's going to either be there's maybe up to three things you need to know that we'll look at individually, or they could be three aspects of the same thing. We'll just see what we get, and that will set the scene for us. So this may help you choose because I did shuffle and ask for the first of those three for each to help you go towards the right reading. If you want to go to more than one reading, of course, by all means do that. The timestamps are in the description box below for when you're ready to make your choice for reading or readings. But just to quickly say what we have for each of these, for pile number 1, we have card 41 and it's dagger. So there could be, if any of you are sort of thinking you either need a weapon or that somebody may be about to betray you or something like that, maybe that's something to draw you there, some idea of knowing the force that you may need to protect yourself or what others may have in mind for you. For pile number 2, we have artifice, number 16. And for pile number 3, we have number 18, and it's inheritance. So if there's something that you feel is in your bloodline or is coming to you now or should be coming to you in time for something that you're meant to take forward, that could be what draws you to that. But as I say, whatever you choose and for whatever reasons, when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I'll see you there. Welcome pile 1. So you came to the reading with dagger, and as I said in the introduction, because these cards are very new to me, so I'm sort of studying them and using them as I'm doing these readings. I wasn't sure whether this was sort of something that might draw you if you feel like you've got to watch out for somebody betraying you, or whether this was about your own weaponry of choice, your own ready to strike. And in this deck, it's much more the latter. So if you were drawn here around wondering if somebody is going to stab you in the back, betray you in some way, it may be a subset of what this is talking about, because I think these three are actually all interrelated. The dagger is when the moment is ripe, when the time is ripe. I would make it, I know we're talking about the Odyssey and so forth, but I would make it analogous to King Arthur being given the sword of Excalibur by the Lady of the Lake. There is this sort of symbolic energy here for you. You are at a point on your path where you're meant to move forward. This is the moment. This is the time to take authoritative steps. This is the time to take steps towards success. But the interesting thing for you with wings reversed here is that you have a very ambivalent attitude at the moment towards success. You either think there is a big price and a big sacrifice that's associated with doing it, or that there's going to be the other shoe is going to drop at some point. It's like, I can move up the ladder, I can take this, but what's the cost? It's very Icarus-like, actually, with the wings reversed. It's very, if I fly too high to the sun, am I going to get burnt? So this is inviting you to know you're at a moment in your pathway where success and achieving things and stepping into your own power is imminent, but you have this issue, and we have fog, which is actually a moment, a stepping aside moment for you to actually start to inquire into this, because fog could say to you, yeah, it's making me feel foggy. The moment is here, but I'm not sure about what to do, so I'm not doing anything. I'm kind of called into a standstill. But the fog actually requires you, just as these lights are going into this pyramid, to explore what's going on, to question what's going on. So what you need to know, what the key message is for you in this reading is, why are you ambivalent about your own success? Why are you ambivalent about your own power? Have you had situations where getting a success has had a cost to you? You know, friendships lost because of jealousy, or you win a battle only to feel like you lost the war in the end, something like that. There is some deep-seated thing here. Is it from your childhood? Is it from sibling rivalry? Is it from growing up in narcissistic families where there was a backlash if you as the scapegoat child did better than the golden child? There's something in here where it's probably been learnt before. It may be that you got to the glittering prizes and then it was like it was too quick, too soon, and you did burn your wings a bit. And so now you're worried because you're now at this point again. But Fog is here saying, welcome that. Welcome it as a kind of a shroud, almost a time of stillness to really work that out and go within and understand yourself. Because all this energy is trying to come into you, but you've got to clear that way and understand how to use that, not to be frightened of it. So this is a very clear and quite simple message, I think, which is about how do you deal with success? So we're going to, as I say, I'm trying to make this a fairly simple sort of reading rather than going into a lot of detail, because I just feel sometimes when we get the key message or messages on our path, it is pretty simple. I'm going to do a line of tarot for each. So we're going to start with first, what message are you meant to get about the nature of the success and power you could step into now? So you understand that, because it is possible. That's what you need to question. It could be that you don't even fully understand your own power and your own capacity for success. So you question it because you kind of act and then think later and you're not sure if that was the right thing to do. So let's see what Spirit wants you to know about this pivotal moment where you can grasp success and what that should mean to you. So we've got one of the additional cards in this deck, and this is actually about winning the battle. This is about the golden apple of discord for the fairest, that you are actually fair. If you have wondered whether or not you deserve this, you do deserve it. Knight of Cups reversed. Six of Wands. Yeah, you're very ambivalent about that kind of thing. The Empress reversed. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. The Page of Wands. Okay, so what this is saying is that you're at a point where you're about to succeed, win in some way, and you deserve to. But there's a whole bunch of programming where you wonder whether you deserve to. I feel that some of you may have at some point had something that was very dear to your heart, and maybe you almost didn't go through with it, or you did go through with it and then there was a backlash around the recognition. So as I say, it feels a lot like people who might have been brought up in narcissistic families, and when they finally did succeed and did something that mattered to them, it was like it was willfully ignored, willfully not looked at, possibly by a nurturing figure, by a parent, probably the mother, but it doesn't have to be the mother. Could be just that kind of energy. There was almost like a denial of nurturing, a denial of being recognized about something that was very dear to you. And it gave you a sense of impermanence if you went after what you wanted sort of creatively or so forth. So it's almost like some of you may have been in a family where you wanted to be very creative and very different and very much of your heart and your passions, but you were never given the recognition for that. You had to sort of do something that was very materially sensible or something like that. Or you've always been meant to kind of put other people first and nurture other people above yourself, so that when your moment comes, it's almost you're guilt tripped about it. There's something like this. But Spirit wants you to know you are the one who deserves this opportunity. You should not shy away from it. This is a pattern that this opportunity is inviting you to let go of. That you can actually create something lasting even if you're worried about doing it. That it's not flash in the pan, that it's not following your heart is not somehow unworthy. And even if those that you've almost given a power to tell you whether you're going to be recognised or not don't like what you're doing, just the act of claiming your victory takes you above that energy. So this is very much your ambivalence has been programmed into you by somebody, or some people or some situation. This is the time. There is something coming in. This is the time to break free of that. So what more can we learn about this ambivalence, about this sort of like fear of success that you have? the Nine of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Page of Cups. Oh, that's interesting. Pandora, the girl with all the gifts. Judgment reversed. The Tower reversed. The King of Wands reversed. Okay, all right. This is interesting. So this is saying that even if you are ambivalent, you're very close to this victory anyway. You're very close to opening these doors. So it's calling to you. You have the skills that you need. You maybe were told you didn't. This is very interesting when we have Hephaestus as the King of Wands in its reverse, because Hephaestus was a blacksmith, a skilled technician, a skilled person in his area, and his skills were what gave him like the kind of power that he had. But he always felt a bit lesser than. He always felt not beautiful enough, not attractive enough. He was married to Aphrodite, so he used his skills to try and win the love of his wife. So there's a sense here of your creative skills have been a little bit suppressed, but they're there and you're ready to use them. But it's like the judgment of others, and also like it's like you're always having to fix up everything for everybody else. This is what I sort of feel. I feel like your skills and your ability, like in your family, around your workplace, all of those sort of things, they're all calling you to fix up everybody else's stuff. And you are very skilled and able to do it. So it's kind of like, well, this is the selfless way to use your abilities. This is what you should be doing. And there's a lot of judgment if you do anything else, but it's also calling to you, because here, Pandora, the girl with all the gifts, there's this sense you really do have the gifts that you need. It's just that you're nervous about using them for yourself, because you might let everything out into the world, just like Pandora did. It's like you've been guilt tripped. You have a lot of skill, but you've somehow not been recognized for it. The only time you've been recognized for it, Pile 1, is when you're doing stuff for other people. Now, it is wonderful to serve others, but you also sometimes have to serve yourself. And this is what you need to know. And you need to go within. And it is actually, there is a lot of fog, because when you do it, when you unpack all of this, there's a lot of stuff about what other people have said and done, and misleading energy and so forth. It's probably not an easy thing to do, but it's really essential, because there's something you're meant to have now. So let's see about the process dealing with the fog. How do you interrogate that? How do you use this guidance so that you realize you're not going to let out all the terror into the world if you use your gifts? You're ready to use your gifts. It's like everybody else has been benefiting from it. It's time for you to benefit from it, Pile 1. So dealing with the fog, the Three of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Devil reversed, the High Priestess reversed, Justice, beautiful, and the Four of Cups reversed. Okay, this is pretty clear. The whole point about allowing yourself to go in and consider this, rather than knee-jerk reacting into sort of avoiding your own success, is that you're meant to find your direction, and it's your direction, not other people's direction. That gives you this huge creative push. There's a blessing associated with this. It's both material, I think, with that being a bit like a pentacle, and then also creative. Frees you. You're meant to be liberated from this energy now. You're meant to get real about it. Like, take it out of the fog. The High Priestess is all these mysteries. People have had a kind of almost mysterious influence over you by guilt tripping you. It's time to bring this into balance. It hasn't been fair. This frees you from emotional blocks that stopped you from really going into your ability. So this is a very simple, clear message. You have been trained to be ambivalent about success because you've been trained to think it's selfish. It's not. The people who trained you this way are the selfish ones. Once you get real about that and you liberate that out, it brings it into balance. You're able to move forward. But that's what your ambivalence is. It's not that you're somehow going to be punished for your selfishness. If there are people who are not going to be your friends anymore because you've ceased to put them first every single time, then maybe they weren't your friends in the first place. And if there were issues around family and so forth, it's like breaking yourself free from that so that you can be true to who you are and get the recognition that you deserve. So Spirit's being pretty full on. This is interesting. It is a full on deck, I've found, with the work that I've done with it so far. It doesn't pull any punches, but ultimately it is about you getting where you need to go. And this is a pretty clear message. So let's get you some gods to help you, a couple of Greek gods to help you with this particular stage of your journey. We have epimtheus, carelessness. Oh, that's interesting. And then we also have Laertes, faithfulness. Okay, all right. This is the thing to understand. You've been taught that you have to be faithful to others, otherwise you're being careless of other people's hearts, careless of like your duty. It's a very strong sixth house feeling about this actually, but it's the sixth house not working well. Like the sixth house is about service to others, but it's like that's become overdone. It's like your sense of discipline and in fact you've been given a really good praise and so forth when you're faithful, when you're dedicated, when you do what people want, and you've been given a lot of trouble if you didn't do what the people want. You know, I think right from childhood, these gods are here to show that this is part of the programming. Because when people are saying you're careless of them, they're being careless of you. It doesn't have to be that it's deliberate, but this is something built into the relationship pattern. When they want faithfulness from you, you should only return it if you're getting it as well. Are people caring for your heart if they want you to care for theirs? Are people faithful for you if you are expected to be faithful? If you get the answer of yes, they care for you and they are faithful, then yeah, it's fine. Take them with you. Take them with you. But if not, let it go. It's a very clear, it's kind of a little bit in your face, this message, but it's one that you need to get because people have been taking advantage of you. And it doesn't necessarily mean they've meant to, but relationship energy settles really quickly. And if you're always serving and putting other people first, that's what they come to expect. So you've got to get this into balance because this is your time, pile one. Okay, so let's get you some stars to guide as well. As I say, this is just going to be a quick reading. So I want a constellation to give us a little bit more information about this, and then we'll get sort of broader star energy as well to guide you. So the constellation is Delphinus, love. So yes, a lot of this is about love. A lot of this is about what is love. Now, it could be it's your time to have the love partner, and that's important. Like you could have family who don't want you to go and do anything, fall in love or do anything because they want you always around them. It could be that it's what you love creatively, what you love in terms of your career. You're meant to go towards that. The guiding energy here is towards love. And it's also the way that you can work this through, that if there is genuine love from people, then you will be able to work out the way they will be genuinely happy for you if you come into your success. But if they aren't, it's a very good and clear message that the love is not there and that it's not about you not being worthy. It's about their own issue and capacity to love. So let's get some other stars to guide you. Fifth house, for some of you, is going to be about love, some about creativity. It is very much about the relationships and the people that you care about. And this is about you coming into your creative self. It's very important that you do this because the time is right. We have the new moon, seeding, plant what you desire. Yeah, start to think about what you desire. Plant what you desire. The Ace of Wands, that apple there. It's your time. It's don't limit yourself or feel that success is somehow, as I say, going to have a price. It's not. Beyond maybe seeing people that were not being balanced, but that's actually a gift in itself, pile one. And Cancer, yeah, a lot of this is close to home, I've got to say. A lot of this is about family patterns, family programming, all that kind of thing. But you can protect, it is saying you can protect and love those that protect and love you. There's no problem with that, and you will find that, and that's part of what you'll find both stepping into your creative success and your true expression. But you need to plant the seeds of desire for that, not for kind of love and family and community that only comes from you constantly sacrificing yourself and putting others first. So let's see some fortune energy as well. We're just going to get you 3 cards from the Shadow of the Middle Ages for fortune energy that's around this stage of your path. And then we're just going to get you, we'll just close out with a light to guide you. So firstly, we have future. Yeah, you need to look to the future. In fact, a lot of your skill is about the future, cutting through the fog of the past, moving to the future. Your creativity, your energy is meant to bring in something that's new for you, the future. Be focused on that, not on the past. Where do you want to go, with this 3 of Wands? Mountain, there's a big mountain for you to climb. There's a big success. This is not small. You're going to succeed, but it's a big thing you're taking on. You have to back yourself. And birds, you have to be aware that there could be gossip and people push back, but don't worry about it. That's kind of the energy of the past that's not happy. There will be some people that are not happy because you're not doing what you normally do. You're not putting them first. But like, let them gossip, let them spill the tea all they like, because at the end of the day, you've got bigger fish to fry. You're heading to the future. You're moving away from that pattern. That's wonderful. So just to finish off, I just want to get you a light to guide you on your path, pile 1. Repair, making amends rather than fun times reveals a relationship's true constitution. I think this is saying that there will be some relationships that come through this and there is love. I do think that this is saying it's not going to be everyone. But equally, you don't need to get caught in this pattern of constantly repairing everything if people told you you've done it wrong. It's both ways. Both parties have to be involved. There will be people who applaud you doing this. They haven't meant to hold you back. They haven't meant to make you feel that. In fact, if it's a pattern that you got when you were young, you might have just applied it to a bunch of relationships that don't feel that way. So when you start to push forward, you might expect that there's going to be pushback, but in fact, there's going to be harmony. And it's going to make you realize how wonderful the love is in your life. But there will be some where the only way it can be repaired is if they meet you in the exercise. And so be aware of that. Don't make it one-sided. So it's a pretty clear message for you, pile 1. I hope that it resonates. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with artifice, and just that word, I think if you came to this, you were quite brave, because in and of itself, it would make you think there's something that's not true, something that's false, something that's not what it appears. And that is pretty much what we're looking at here. I'm feeling like I want to say trigger warning right at the beginning. I don't normally say that in readings. This is a very interesting deck. It doesn't pull any punches. But I think the point about this, I felt drawn to do this reading. I think it's about very clear, very crisp, quick messages to give advice and information and guidance so that you can just take it and work with it and do what you're going to do with it. Because this is about betrayal, I have to say. This is saying that there is something, you will know. I mean, if this doesn't resonate, it's not your reading, okay? Because I think you'd know already, or you'll have an inkling that this is coming. You might be actually trying to convince yourself it isn't happening, but if you are thinking, is someone betraying me? Chances are they are, because that's what artifice is about. And what it asks you to do, it says there's a betrayal. Somebody has not been what they should have been to you. Someone has been false to you, or is in the process of doing that. But it also asks you to look at yourself and saying, like, why would I allow this to happen? How can I move past it, and so forth? It's like, rather than letting it become the central thing, it's what do I do next, to kind of let the light come through, just like the light's coming through the hand there. So there is a sense here of you knowing and being able to accept that, even though it is, I think it's a significant person or a significant thing, because fracture suggests you've hit a point of knowing a situation, something that's happened, nothing can be the same again. So this could be, I have to say, it could be that someone's cheated on you. I'm not saying it is happening. I think you'd know, you'd have it, or an inkling. If you don't think anything's wrong in your relationship, there probably isn't. It may turn out to be something at work or a friend or something like that. But with fracture, once you recognize this, nothing can be the same again. But there is a period of time with shimmer reversed where you're really trying to not listen to your intuition. You really don't want to see it. So I think it was important to come here to say, if you have an inkling that this is happening, then you're probably right. And if it's just happened and you have an inkling that there is sort of something underneath this for you to know about yourself so that you can move forward better, but you're not wanting to face it, then do face it, because it will help you. So your intuition is going to help you navigate beyond the change, but it's like you have to let it do it, because this is painful. I'm sorry. I very rarely get a message like this, but I think I was drawn to use this deck, even though, as I say, I knew that it's kind of heavy. And I think it's because you're meant to hear this. It's important for those who've come to it. But I would very much say, if you don't have any inkling whatsoever, any gut instinct that anything could be about to be like this, like somebody stabbing you in the back at work, or somebody being untrue to you in a love relationship, a friend, like choosing someone else over you, whatever it might be. If you don't have an inkling of that, you're not trying to repress at the moment, I don't think this is your reading. But for those that it is, let's see what we get from tarot. So we're going to ask for a little bit more on each of these things. So let's see a little bit more about what this betrayal actually is. Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, 10 of Cups reversed, the Fool, Strength reversed, the Nine of Cups. This is something that was part of your wish and part of your dream. I think it's something that started relatively recently, but it may have had its sort of like tentacles in history in some way. But it looks as though there's something like you'd started on a new endeavour, something like that. And it is something that you really wanted. It was part of a wish, but the foundations were not there. The capacity for this to go long term was not there. And it could be someone that you'd wanted for a long period of time, or a job that you wanted for a long time. Could even have been that you had some sort of issue around your family and you felt we've started something new. Because it looks as though you put a lot of work into something, into the skills, the understanding of yourself, the understanding of relationships, your passions, what direction you wanted to go in. But it's like, it's better. This is saying it's better for you to learn early in the piece, because you can still go towards your dream, but it's like not on this foundation. It doesn't have the strength or the capacity to go where it needs to go. This is not your fault. It would only become an issue for you if you ignore it and you keep trying to push it through, because its foundations are not there. And it would become something where someone else was trying to take advantage of your skills and your dream for themselves in some way, or use you in some way. So I think it's like, it's something relatively new. It's something that is taking you to a wish, but it's not the right foundations. That's what Spirit wants you to know. So what about the fracture? What is the event or the knowing that really makes you know that this is the point of no return? You can't keep going down this pathway. It's not going to work for you. The Oracle, okay, you're your own intuition. The Six of Pentacles reversed. The King of Swords reversed. Strength, again, there's two different strength cards in this. Strength reversed. The Two of Cups reversed. And the Six of Swords reversed. Okay, all right. I think that regardless of whether or not this is about love or whether it's about work or something, the energy that this is emanating from is masculine. And it's like it's somebody, a male energy here. So it could be literally, somebody who is male or identifies with being male, or someone who has a very masculine energy, or it's about masculine types of things in some way, ambition, all that kind of thing. There's something like that. It's like there's a battle of wills that triggers this. Your strength and their strength. Neither of you in this situation is actually strong. But your strength was in a genuine wish for something new and good, and you had the skills. Their strength was in lying. So you realize this person is not your equal. You thought they were your equal. You thought that you were going to, in love or in work or whatever it was, move forward. But their strength and their offering is a lie. They bring disharmony. If it's a love relationship, they'll bring disharmony. They don't have the direction. You had the direction. They were kind of like jumping on the bandwagon and going with you. You know this. It's like it comes to you first in an oracular way. It may be for some of you, it's literally through seeing this reading and then going into your own inner knowing. As long as you listen to that, then you will be okay. You will know what to do. But this is a competition. There's a competition element. So even if it was like a lover and you thought this person was competing with you, this person was pretending to be your equal and pretending, but they don't think that way. They want more. They want to be boss. They want to control, whatever it might be. And if they felt that they couldn't do that in fact they actually realized you were an equal and you couldn't be controlled and manipulated, whether this is in love or whatever it is, they're going to go off and they're going to find somewhere else, because this person is manipulative. So it's just knowing that energy and going into your own intuition is telling you. So what can Spirit say about not ignoring that intuition and not pushing forward more? Because that's the risk for you at the moment. Like not wanting to see this betrayal, like could stop you from understanding and dealing with it until it's fractured even further and so forth. So what is Spirit suggesting there? Ace of Swords, new way of thinking about it. The Star reversed. The Four of Cups. The Six of Wands. The Page of Cups reversed. The Devil. Okay, all right. So new way of thinking about this, seeing it would be a form of bondage rather than a form of commitment and collaboration. Like you need to have a different perspective on it. This would be a very entrapping energy, and it's not coming from a good emotional place. So like listen to your intuition about that. You may have felt very recognized by this person in some way, and after a period of time, whether it's emotionally or career, whatever it is, after a period where you felt that you weren't recognized, but it's like it's false. They pretended to see you as a star. They pretended to see you as all of those things, but that's not what they're going to be doing with this. It's about control. And like once you realize that, you realize it's like a deal with the devil. I'm not saying literally that, but it's like something like that. Like to connect with this person is to give over your power, your strength to be manipulated, all because you thought like this was a love or this was a recognition, but it's false. This person is false, and your own intuition knows it. So it's really important. It's really important to listen to that. So let's see what gods can help you in this. Greek gods we're looking at here. The graces. So your own charm, your own beauty, your own ability, and your own capacity in the world. This person probably envies that in you and wants that from you. The graces are with you though. So you can move on. You can still go towards your dream, just not with this person. It was a detour that was the wrong detour. And Iris, messages. Yeah, they're sending you messages, oracular messages, and they're messages of hope. They're saying your dream is still more than possible, but you just don't put your sort of lots in with this person, because they're not going to take you. They're going to try and take from you rather than take you where you want to go. Let's also get some celestial guidance. So we're going to get a constellation, and then we're going to get the stars in general to guide you on your journey. And I think in this case, it's a journey away so that you can get back on the right road for yourself. Oh, this is interesting. This came up for another reading. There could be some of you that are connected both, and I could see a connection for some of you in this between it. It could be the next step of another reading potentially if you stuck around energy that was trying to control you. But anyway, there is love associated with this. You're meant to find love. You're meant to find the thing that you love, the thing that you would enjoy to do, and all of that kind of thing. But there is the understanding that love is also something that can be an artifice, something that could fracture if it's not real. You need to listen to your intuition. So what do the rest of the stars say about this for you? Trine. This will be easier to move away from than you think, but there's actually two levels to that. It will be easier to move away from than you think, because I say the graces are with you, Iris is with you. There's a lot of very beautiful energy coming through to get you back on track and back towards your dream. But a trine is also, maybe it was something that was easy. Like, as I say, if it was love, it might have been the person did all the seducing. You feel like this is easy, this is great, they really like me, but it's because they're a player or something like that. If it's around work or something like that, it's like it's something that seems too good to be true probably is. There's something like that energy associated with it. We have Chiron, something that you'll need to heal within yourself. So it's going to be a bit of a shock to the system, but it will also be easier to heal than you expect, because I think you're going to have all this really good energy as well to take you back on track. And the 11th house, it could be friends more than anything. Social media is another way this could be happening with the 11th house. It's more likely, I actually think it's more likely to be a friend who's maybe pretending to be a lover, or a friend who is false, or something on social media. I think they're the areas where it's probably most likely to be happening. But you will be able to move past it. But you just have to listen to your intuition. You may even be able to avoid the fracturing event by listening to your intuition now. And you make the separation, but it's not as big. It's not. And that could also be if it is a friend or a workmate or something like that, or even if it's someone you've gone out with that you have mutual friends with. If you understand this now and you step away and it doesn't become really big, then it may well be that there's still a capacity to not disrupt everything else around you if that's something that you're worried about doing. So let's see some other fortune energy that's attending this part of your journey with the Shadow of the Middle Ages deck. Lilith. Wow. Oh, no, sorry, it's Lilith. And it's Litha. I thought it was Lilith, and I was going to go, wow, that's really vampiric. That always means something when you think it's something else. So that's a kind of vampiric energy around this, and it's very obsessive, so be aware of that. But it is also, Black Moon Lilith is also about freedom, so there's something about freedom. But this is actually Litha, the summer solstice. That may be a particularly important timing for you in meeting this person, knowing this is going on, getting the intuition, whenever summer is for you. Then we have book. Yeah, there's more to learn about a situation. And that may be a way to look at it. Once your intuition goes, rather than getting very emotional about it, maybe look into it. Try and get a bit detached and find out more, because it may allow you to feel that you have more agency in what you do with this. And to kind of find it out before anything can really, really take with this. And Lily, yeah, there's a bit of healing that will come. Also, the more that you investigate it, look into it and understand it, the more healing will come, and the more healing will come quickly. Okay, so just to finish off, and as I said, it's going to be pretty quick readings. I just wanted to get the short and sharp, and it does appear to be sharp, messages to people for their journey. We'll just get you a light on your way with the Lantern Oracle. Wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. Yeah. If you are trying to avoid this because this is something, you think this person or this situation is the thing that's leading to your dream, what the Graces and Iris are saying is that no, your dream is solid. You just need to take it with a different person. Wanting this person to be the great love, the great collaborator, the great friend, it's not going to make that person that. That's not who they are. But if you let go of that, and you're not caught on a treadmill of it anymore, you can actually start to get your own intuition can guide you where you need to go. But right back there, the artifice said, look at yourself. Why is it that you feel like do you feel you need this other half of you to feel like you're a lover, to feel like you're you, when in fact, like, you've got to be you, and that will bring the lover in? Do you feel that you need a companion or a friend to go out into the world? Well, you've actually got to go out into the world yourself, and then the right friends will come. Do you feel that you need a collaborator for work? Well, you've got to be you, and then that will happen. Not let artifice happen on your side either. So I think ultimately this is positive, but it's a warning. And it's like the sooner that you listen to your intuition, the better. And then you'll actually start to course correct to what you're meant to do, and to head ultimately to your dreams. So I hope that was helpful. I'm not sure it was an enjoyable message, but I hope it was helpful. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Inheritance. We also have Invitation reversed and Resigned reversed. What I must say about this deck, it's really, really beautiful, but it doesn't pull any punches. And I think this reading, maybe the reason I felt drawn to do it, but to do pretty brief, short, sharp, to the point readings, was that I had a sense this was the deck to deliver the things that you need to hear, even if they're not easy to hear. And that's certainly been kind of so far, and I think it's the same here. This is a very interesting one, though. The other two readings, if you went to either of them, were more around sort of interpersonal things, how other people have influenced you in one way or the other. This is a more subtle form of influence and a deeper one, and it offers you great knowledge and great strength, but it's also a little bit overwhelming. So I think that the point of this message is to make you not fear what you will find when you look into it, because Inheritance is about understanding the very deep layers of ourselves, the things that existed in us, in our ancestral line, in our blood, in our DNA. It talks a bit about how our personality is formed by the time we're about 7. So really early childhood stuff as well too. But this is you starting to look at the layers of yourself and understanding a self that isn't even your own construct. As I say, it's what you've come in with, DNA and so forth. It could be connecting to ancestral lines within your family, ancestral trauma, all of those things. This is a moment in your journey where who you are and what you've become, you start to realize is not just what you've done in this life, but it's also what is literally within your bones, what is literally within your blood. And it gives you this whole other layer. Now, what this is saying is that there is something in that is inviting you to go deep, but you are kind of resisting it because it's a bit frightening. So it's like this deck talks about, like using plant medicine and sort of like going, I don't think I need it, when it might have been just that the person was afraid. Now, I'm not advocating that one way or the other. I've never used it, so I can't speak from any knowledge. It was just an example. But this is like, there is something very deep wanting to rise in you to make you understand yourself better and your path better. But it's an invitation that you might resist because it seems just a bit too much. And then with resigned, when it's reversed, it's kind of because you feel like you're powerless about it. So I feel almost like, I don't know what cultures you come from, the people who come to this particular reading, but I feel almost like you start to get a much bigger understanding of your ancestral line, your bloodline, all of that kind of thing. And there is great depth and knowledge, but it's also like, well, I can't do anything about that. Like it's like there's a sense of being overwhelmed by, if you came from a culture where there was slavery, for instance, in your background, it's like you become psychically and spiritually so aware and so attuned to that, and you sort of feel your first thing is like, I can't, it's too much, I can't do anything about it. It makes you feel powerless. But what this is trying to say is it's meant to actually do the opposite. It's meant to make you understand how far you've come, how far your ancestral line has come, how far further you could go, and how the knowledge of that and the strength that it's laid in every sinew, every bone, every bloodline, every artery of your body, how important that is. I'm feeling a bit emotional about this. I feel like there's something here about owning and knowing that, and knowing you can do something. And I just want to just say a little personal thing here. I did some shamanic journeying with Rena from Gold Key Guidance, and we did look at ancestral stuff. And one of the things that really struck me in the situation that I did was that not only did it raise a lot to the surface for me, but I think it helped the other people in my family who have passed on. So I think there's a message here that don't resist it, don't feel overwhelmed. You're really going to start to understand who you are and where that's come from. And if there is pain, it's like you can't change the past, but you can spiritually help repair some of the impacts of the past. So I think there's a very deep invitation here, but you were meant to hear this so that you didn't feel not worthy of it, because you are worthy of it. So let's have a look at each piece of this. So firstly, let's have a look at a little bit more about the inheritance, about what it is that you're learning about yourself at this very deep level. The Magician reversed, Death, the Empress reversed, Judgment reversed, the Hierophant. Oh, this is big. Page of Cups. Okay, it's big and it's very buried. This is bringing something really deep to the surface. There is something in your ancestral line, or maybe your karmic history. That's the other thing. If it's not your ancestral line, it's your karmic history, where a choice was made with the wrong information. There was a betrayal or something like that. This is almost like one of the other readings here, but writ large, like across a family line. But there was a choice made, and you're kind of going to start to understand it because it was made with the wrong information. It was not towards growth and life and nourishment and nurturing. It was towards the opposite. It was down in the underworld. It's almost like a sorcerer's pact. I'm not saying it has to be literally that. It could be literally that for some of you. But there's something like that. There's like a deal that was done that was not, and it had ramifications across your family line, your ancestral line, your karmic line. Its time is coming to bring this to the surface. Time is coming to bring it to judgment, to awareness, to awakeness. And you have to be different. You have to take that step. You have to be prepared to look at the healing. This is Chiron. So Chiron is about healing. So you have to be prepared to accept it, but you also have to undo learning that you've had, because Chiron is also education. So this is about bringing this to the surface, is asking you to undo most of what you think you know about your family history, your cultural history, whatever it is. And it is at the same time asking you to open your heart, because it's releasing all of this energy out. And that, like Pandora here, releasing all of the pain of the past out. This is the invitation. And of course, she kept hope in the jar. This is like, there is hope. This is not something to be worried about. This is actually meant to happen. It's meant to be released. It's meant to be brought up to the surface. And as I say, whether that's in a spiritual way or whether it's, some family secret or something like that that's coming back, it's coming out. And it's like, this is an invitation for you. You are ready. You are able to deal with this. And you will feel like it's beyond you, but it's not. It's not. Just a simple act of letting it out is incredibly powerful. Pandora had all the gifts. You have the gifts that are necessary, but it's coming to the surface. It's really interesting. So let's say a little bit more about this invitation and why you might be kind of avoiding it a bit afraid of it. The Sun reversed, the Eight of Wands reversed, the High Priestess reversed. You're really avoiding the spiritual side of this. The Eight of Swords reversed, the Seven of Cups reversed, and then the Six of Swords. So this is also showing us the process if you go through it. The invitation is coming to you, but you don't feel worthy or ready for it, but you are. And it is part of your life path. It's possible even that some of this is karmic. It's possible that in some past life you set off some sort of a deal that was not right. This is coming back for you to set it free. Or you are precisely the person and it is your life path to do this. You're very worried about what this is going to set off. Just like Pandora over there, so you're very worried about it happening fast and quickly and being overwhelming. This is saying that it's coming through psychically, but you are actually able to be quite pragmatic about it. It has to come to the surface. It has to come to the surface. But you can manage how quickly it comes to the surface. And you can also manage any of the attitudes or ideas about this, because it's almost as though there's something here where the truth has to come to the surface, but it doesn't have to come forward in a really judgmental way. It's almost like there's something in the history of your family, for instance, which if you looked at it in today's societal standards would be really problematic. But if you understand it when it happened, you can understand it in context. It doesn't have to be somehow you then have to strike all that out of your life because it's so wrong. It's like it tells you how far we've come, that's not the case anymore. But there is a need to liberate old judgments in some way with this and to be very pragmatic about it. This is not to be sentimental. That will bring you the peace of mind that you need. But it's frightening because it does bring you face to face with judgment. It brings you face to face with something where there's a shift in societal attitudes, a shift in the people around you, something like that. And you're wondering if you can contain it. But you can get to the peace of mind. It's just a very pragmatic decision. And it's not idealistic. You don't do this by beating an idealistic drum. It's not like that. It's more to be practical and work out the way to bring it to the surface and release it. So then let's have a look at the issue of resigned reverse here. Why do you feel that you're powerless? Why does this make you feel powerless? Because you're not, but it's making you feel that way. So why? Ace of Wands. The Six of Pentacles reversed, the Three of Wands reversed, the Moon, the Ten of Wands, the Emperor. Okay, it's got something to do with power, and whether you have the power. You feel like you're here with the Ace of Wands, and over there there's the Emperor. Like, how does the Ace of Wands deal with the Emperor? This is big. And it may be powerful people that this has been around, powerful people within your family, within your bloodline, it could be in an organisation, in a culture, whatever it is. So there's a kind of a sense of I'm one sort of like energy, like potential of energy against something that's already created. Like how can I, aren't I going to get exhausted even trying to do this? But it's saying you're equal to it. It is saying you're equal to it. It's just saying at the moment you haven't worked out the direction to take yet. That's going to come to you psychically. And the underworld is going to help you. If the underworld was kind of like part of what was something that was the wrong thing, it's actually going to get rectified. Whatever was happening with Hades is going to be rectified by Hecate here. And it's interesting, the Hecate looks to the past, the future, and the present. There's a kind of a bringing of everything to the present moment for the future. The old ways are going to die with this. The old ways are letting go. They've done their time. So it's not going to make you powerless. It's actually going to make you powerful, but it's understandable why you would feel like this looks too much, but you've got very strong spiritual support. Let's look at some other god or goddess energy that's supporting you. Pile 3. Iris, this came through for one of the others. I do think that some of you are coming to more than one. Messages. And the information you need is coming to you. Trust that. It's meant to inspire you. It's not meant to make you feel overwhelmed. It's meant to inspire you in how you can kind of right a wrong and clear some energy and move forward. And the graces, that's really interesting. I've been shuffling these cards and like, that came up, but almost in reverse order for another one. There's a few of you that are probably going to more than one, but this is, again, there's something very beautiful and graceful around this. You'll be able to do it. I feel like it's sort of something that was done at a different time for a different reason. We are in different times now. There is a graceful and beautiful and non-judgmental way to clear this energy, and you're the person to do it. You're exactly the person to do it. But it might feel like, oh my God, how do I do that? Like, that's a bit frightening to even go there. So let's get you some guidance from the stars. Firstly, a constellation to guide you. Wow. Aquila, power. Yeah, exactly. You have the power to do this. This is a powerful thing. You have the power to do it. I'm feeling like this is like this eagle here, this giant eagle that's like a spirit guide for you to like help you find your own power. See how the person is holding a lightning bolt? Like this is like a lightning bolt. This is like a revelation, but it's also a revelation of the power that, again, you're the person to do this, even if you don't feel equal to it. You will have the energy and you'll have a helicopter view, a higher order view of this on some level, because winged creatures can get above something and see the past, future, and see how it all comes together. There's something in that. I think you have an understanding of this. You'll have an understanding of this and how it can be released, because at this time it can, and it probably couldn't have been before. So let's see what other stars guide you. The waning crescent moon, surrender, release control of the universe. Yeah, you don't have to have the control. You are actually, the power of what you're doing, your message and the support and the healing energy is all that you really need. It's like, if you feel powerless, because this card, when it's upright, says surrender and go with the flow. So it's inviting you to do that. Just do that. Don't be afraid of that. Don't feel overwhelmed. Go with. It's not a tsunami. This is like a big tide to take you to clearer waters and clearer shores. Pisces, yeah, the kind of the sense of the psychic, the numinous, connecting to the moon, your own psychic ability. Some of this is to bring that forward, to bring your own psychic ability forward. It's why you're the person who can do it. I think for many of you are going to do it on a kind of liminal space. It's like a healing of this energy on a liminal space, but it will have an impact. You are more than ready for this, pile 3. And water, yeah, water. It's all about water. The air, seeing it, but it's also about water, clearing the energy away, getting to the depths. The emotional thing, like it's kind of clearing it all out. That's what you can do. And water is incredibly powerful in a subtle way. I often talk about water over rocks. If you think about it, like in a stream, over a period of time, very rough rocks that are difficult, like situations that are difficult, gnarly, hard, they smooth out over time. So I think this is sort of saying, like, give yourself time as well. Your emotional depth and your spiritual ability is a very healing energy that can do this. Okay, so we're also going to just get you 3 cards around fortune for this, the fortune energy that you need to know about as you go through this. I think it's a very liminal, shamanic, astral, meditative sort of process, but nevertheless, it's being triggered by something in very material in your bloodline or your culture or something like that. So let's see what we get. So firstly, compass. Yeah, direction is important. You don't need to worry about how you're going to get something. You just need to know the direction you want it to be in, which is towards either the present or a future that is better. Just not to the past, I don't think. The past is what needs to be healed. Then we have Tiger. There's the willpower, the strength. You have the strength to do this. You really do. Don't doubt that. Some of you might be tigers in Chinese astrology too, potentially, who are very willpowered. Tigers, confident, brave, magnetic, idealistic, all those things. If you are, you don't have to be. And you might have someone like that around you too that will help you. And in bulk, February. So this may be very much triggered around February, the next upcoming February. Now, depending upon when this is published, because I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to publish it, that may be a fair way away, or it might be very close. Or it could be even if February is happening right now when you're sort of seeing this, even if, depending upon when you actually click on it, it could be another year. So just think about it as the next February as a timing where probably this process is fully done and you actually feel comfortable with it again. So lastly, we're just going to get you a light on your path, a light to guide you on your path. Radical curiosity, seeing as if for the first time every time. Yeah, that's the way to look at this. Don't be afraid of it. It's coming up in you for a reason. Be curious, radically curious. You're going to shift things. You're going to change things. You are not powerless. The invitation is for you to do that. Do not balk at that. Do not think, I am not up to this. Go into it with curiosity. Say, this has come to me for a reason. Why? And then you go from there. Because this is something you're meant to do. It's a very powerful thing. It's actually very, very positive, but there's something very deep, a very deep wound, a very deep wrong, something like that. And even if you can't fix it in the material world, you are able to fix this in the liminal space at the very least. So don't doubt that. I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading, or at least found it helpful. These have been fairly challenging readings, so I'm not sure if enjoy is quite the right word, but I really have a lot of faith in you. This is for you at this point in time, and I hope this is helpful. If it has been helpful, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.